If you're looking for a comfortable, classy, all-day, all-purpose touring bike, the adventure bike category has a lot to offer. They're kind of like the SUVs of the motorcycle world. They sell themselves on swashbuckling off-road fantasies, but probably spend most of their lives on the bitumen. And the manufacturers know it. Most adventure machines are actually almost totally focused on road riding. Now, these are wonderful road bikes, but the KTM team has clearly looked at the market and seen a gap for a truly dirt-focused adventure machine for riders that really plan to tackle the rough stuff. So they took their awesome 1190 Adventure and built this, the 1190 Adventure R. Here's the key differences. Instead of 19 and 17 inch wheels, the R has 21 and 18 inches. The rims are spoked and tubeless, and they come fitted with aggressive twin-giro knobbies instead of road tyres. The regular Adventure has electrically adjustable suspension, but the R doesn't. Instead, it gets 30mm more travel at both ends for additional ground clearance in the dirt. What hasn't changed is the motor. Both versions of the Adventure use the 148 horsepower V-twin engine from the RC8 sports bike, and both weigh around 217 kilos before fuel is added. Combine that with an 890mm seat height that really makes you think about where you're going to put a foot down, and you get one heck of an intimidating machine, especially if you're a complete moron on the dirt like, say, me. Still, riding this roaring beast on the road is actually quite lovely. In a straight line, it's a very civilised experience. It's comfortable and quick, and the 23-litre tank will give you nearly 500 k's of freeway range if you trundle along at the speed limit. Throw it at a set of corners and you become aware of the size and weight of those big gyroscopes at the front and the back. You can really feel the wheels resisting your steering efforts at high speeds. These Continental TKC 80 tyres handle sporty road cornering pretty well, but they certainly feel like dirt bike tyres and not sticky road rubber. And I found myself adjusting my cornering lines a bit wider because the bike is so tall that you feel like you're leaning a mile over. And if your wheels are close to the centre line, it's easy to end up with your head dangling out into oncoming traffic. KTM bills this as the safest bike on the road, thanks to its clever traction control and lean angle sensitive cornering ABS, both of which operate differently in the 4 different riding modes available. With 150 horses on tap, the traction control indicator lights up on just about every corner exit, even with fairly mild throttle. So I think it's fair to say it does a good job keeping this monster in line. As for the cornering ABS, well, it does a great job in a straight line, but I'm buggered if I'm going to reef the brakes on while I'm leaned over in a corner. You want me to test that? You give me a big car park and a bike I'm allowed to crash instead of a brand spanking new 21 grand demo machine. Anyway, at some point the bitumen has to run out and I can't put this off any longer. I'm a road rider, I've got bugger all experience on dirt. And from this point onward, I fully expect the comments section below to be full of cheeky bastards telling me how slow and fat and useless I am. Go on, you mongrels, I can take it. This is an expert level bike. For a hopeless rider like me, the Adventure R can be quite a religious experience on the dirt. The power is absolutely vast, but the throttle mapping is smooth enough to make it accessible. In off-road mode, traction control lets you spin the back wheel up to twice the speed of the front wheel before it intervenes, and you can lock up the back wheel with the rear brake without activating the ABS. But I didn't do that very much because I was busy crapping myself more or less continuously.
Yes, Bull, and if we watch carefully on the replay here, we can see a good 1/4 of a litre down that right leg.
Standing up on the pegs helps lower the centre of gravity of the bike, and it feels more secure on loose terrain. But I felt like the bars could be a bit higher and the foot pegs could be a bit wider for this kind of thing. Slow speed work is a lot easier thanks to a really flexible power delivery that doesn't bog down in the low revs. And I should know because all of my riding was slower than a wet week. The slipper clutch keeps you from losing the back end on downshifts, but it's also designed to help make the clutch lever really light to operate. And it works. For such a big torquey V-twin, the Adventure has one of the lightest clutches I've ever felt. You really appreciate that kind of thing when you're trying to do a bunch of U-turns for the camera on a heavily cambered, winding dirt road with a cliff behind you and vastly inappropriate leather riding gear in 40-degree heat. In terms of criticisms, I found the thumb control dash menu great, but you have to stop the bike to turn the traction control on or off, and the process is a bit fiddly. It runs pretty hot by the end of a long ride, and I hate the screen, although mind you, I hate pretty much every screen. Wind protection. Who needs to be protected from wind? You know what has great wind protection? A car. One thing I can't criticise is the underseat toolkit. Take a look at this puppy, it's the best I've ever seen on a bike, and KTM doesn't forget that the rider needs maintenance too. Anyway, if you pick the right road, going slow can have its advantages. I'd never have seen these views if it wasn't for this bike, and I was keen to appreciate them in true motorcycling fashion. All in all, this was quite an experience for me, and a surprise experience given that when the Adventure rolled up, I was actually expecting a Super Duke R. But bikes like the Adventure open up a whole giant network of roads snaking in and out between the twisty tarmac I know and love. Roads that'll take me to places I'd just never go otherwise. And roads with sweet bugger all traffic, cameras and cops. It feels like I've just had a glimpse into the next level of motorcycling, and I'm keen to get out and do some more. But maybe next time I'll take a bike slightly better suited to my skill level.